Yeah, good morning, fellow gamers, and welcome to my channel. I'm the gaming purist. Well, not just me. There's three of us on this channel, but due to the fact that I am one that plays a lot of Monster Hunter World, a lot of Monster Hunter period, I felt like I had, a better understanding of this game. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's still a lot of things about Monster Hunter that I have yet to grasp. No matter how many hours I've played it, it's just, I'm always learning something new, whether it's a build, whether it's a dodge, whether it's a certain skill, or just simply playing different weapons in order to be able to tell myself, as well as other people that I play with, that I'm able to play any position, as far as whether it's healer, whether it's some sort of support, whether it's just major damage, as far as like hammers and things of that nature. I still have problems playing with the charge blade. But before I stray from the sole intent of what I'm trying to say is, this game is beautiful and it's put together well. I do have qualms though. I do have certain qualms about this game, and I'm sure there's going to be people that get on here and be like, well, in a past video you said you started playing Monster Hunter World and that was your first introduction to Monster Hunter, and that would be true, and for me to claim otherwise would be a lie, and that's something that I'm not going to get on here and commit. It's no need for me to put anything extra on it. I know some people like to embellish they like to embellish their knowledge of certain games. Not so much that they don't know about the games, but as far as they've played the game since the beginning of Monster Hunter, and then you check their age and it's like, it's no way, it's impossible. You jumped on a lot later. But I'm not here to criticize them guys, because everybody's an expert in their own mind. Like, of course, you've seen I just got carded, but that was a stupid mistake. I was practicing horn. Now the hunting horn plays a lot different than it did in Worlds. And I'll just leave it at that. But my intent with this video is not to get on here and use all these technological words and break down percentages of damage or anything of that nature. It's just merely to get on here and give my opinion of this game as someone that played Worlds religiously. Like, one of my account, I played it so much that I don't know, my data ended up becoming corrupted, and I could never fully get back to where I was. Like, as far as it's like I lost a lot of things, and I went back to playing Destiny and left Monster Hunter World behind. And it was, when you've been grinding that long and you lose all the content that you've essentially had after playing hours and hours of the game, I got a little, I don't know, I felt like it just wasn't worth grinding all over. And of course I eventually jumped back on Monster Hunter World and played it to at least 180 something, which was extremely low compared to where I was at before my data became corrupted. But let me not stray from what I want to say, because I don't really want to make this video too long. I just wanted to say that visually and aesthetic wise, it's a beautiful game. Now, my only qualms with this game is the fact that the lack of content. Like, and I get it, it's basically a new game. We're experiencing, for the most part, new monsters. From what I hear, there's a couple of them that came back or that was present in prior Monster Hunter games. So I get it, but it just doesn't have the same allure that Worlds had. And don't get me wrong, there's many people that come on here and they criticize the fact that Worlds was not the same as any other Monster Hunter game, but you have to see it from our point of view. Monster Hunter World was not big on the West as it was in other countries. As far as, like, I forget exactly what Asian country it was the most popular, but it wasn't really popular out here. It wasn't until Worlds came that people like myself was able to delve deep into and experience, the hunt and the doing investigations and looking for particular gear and then the crossovers and things of that nature that really pulled us into this game. Because to be honest, who didn't want to play as Ryu or one of those characters? Yeah, it was all bad in this game, but play as one of those characters, in an entirely different game. But of course, Capcom came through and they delivered. And it's just, I don't know, like I don't really know how or why they didn't continue with that recipe. I get it as far as like being a new game and they wanted to give us new experiences. And let me just say this, some of the mechanics in this game right now are done beautifully. I wasn't really too much into Worlds when Iceborne came and they brought in the Clutch Claw, because then you had the Clutch Claw every animal, every monster in order to do real damage. Because if you didn't Clutch Claw, it would take that much longer for you to do a sufficient amount of damage in order to either put the monster down or to capture him, and time would elapse. So I wasn't a real fan of the Clutch Claw, but I understood that they wanted to go in a whole different direction with it, and I respected it because it was something that they added on. And as being somebody that's new to hunting monsters in this game and just new to Monster Hunter in a whole, I just wanted to be the best hunter I can be, and I felt like I had to learn Clutch Claw, and I did eventually learn Clutch Claw, and then it got to the point to where that's all I wanted to do was Clutch Claw. I didn't want to jump off rocks in order to try to mount a monster. I just Clutch Claw him and break him up until he's either at the point of being unalived or he's hurt, and then I can capture him and get even more materials than I would if I was to unalive him and then carve him up. So it was totally something that I was able to adapt to. Now, for the most part, people can't really say too much about this game that's negative. They can only point out the fact that it's the lack of content. And I get it. As time goes on, there will be more monsters that are presented, and maybe other monsters that people that have been with Monster Hunter games since the very beginning, they may enjoy that, and they're going to be happy as monsters trickle in little by little. But for people that are new to the game, it's always going to be about the content. I mean, don't get me wrong, and some people are going to quit this game just off the fact that they're unable to learn the basics, or they're not really paying attention to builds. Even though you can go on YouTube and find multiple builds and become super overpowered, I mean, you still have to learn the basics, as far as like dodging and things of that nature. But for the most part, they supply you with everything you need to know. The only qualms about some of these videos is that they're too technical. Just get down to the meat and potatoes. Add this and that, and this is what gives you the damage. I get it. You sound more proper and you sound more intelligent when you go and delve deeper into the explanations of certain builds. But it's unnecessary at times, especially when you're just trying to jump out of the game, get a little knowledge on how to make your build stronger, and to jump back in. People don't really want to sit there, except the ones that are just really technical players. But you can do a separate video for that. But for the most part, people want to just hear, just put this stone, and it'll have you playing like this. And this is what the overwhelming damage percentage that you'll get. For the most part, if you play a certain way, this is what you'll get, and it make it simple. And I think if people took more time to do that, it would make it a lot easier. But I don't want to even go into that. My whole thing, like I said about this game, is a lack of content. Other than that, the game is done beautifully. I would say that the monsters are definitely not as hard as they were in Worlds, but I have no qualms with that either, because I like to enjoy the game. I know that I'm capable of playing at a higher difficulty, but I do enjoy watching a monster limp away and seeing the red marks. That's one of the discussions that a lot of gamers are having, not only on Reddit but on other platforms, is the fact that some believe that the game is too easy for the hardcores. But and I understand that. You know, there's some people that need a greater challenge, and I think from everything I've seen with Capcom and Monster Hunter Worlds, that it's only gonna get better. I can go into the monsters that they had on Worlds and tell you for a fact that when they increase the damage, even the hardcore Monster Hunter fans will be a little bit weary about going up against certain monsters, like when before Fatalis and before Aterion or whatever his name is, you had Negragante, you had everybody scared to go in and face Kushala because the wind damaged you, and if you didn't have the proper gear or you're unable to deal with it, or to the flashbangs didn't really work as much, like when you flash them, it loses its potency. You know, people remember when you first faced Basil Goose in Worlds, and I'm not talking about Basil Goose in any other games because I don't know if he was in any other Monster Hunters, but in Worlds, people remember when he was dive bombing and Negragante, when he would barely skin you and cart you if you had no type of damage resistance. This is what I'm talking about. People will get to experience that if they only allow themselves to stick with the game. I plan on sticking with Monster Hunter. Don't get me wrong, it gets so repetitive, but even in Monster Hunter Worlds, it was competitive, but it was good because it always felt like a fresh challenge. You were always working towards a certain gear piece or a certain you know, in order to craft a certain weapon. You were always looking to become OP, and you had to constantly keep chasing. You know, you had Omega, you had temper monsters that felt like they were just insurmountable. Like you had to really be cautious on exactly how you move. This game is good, but it's as far as strength wise, it's not on that same level, but it's still a really good game, and it still presents a certain challenge. Like, so for the people that want to fall off this game because there's not enough content, give it time. Even if you have to leave the game for a second and come back in order to make it fresh, which usually only takes a day. If you get burnt out on this game, give it about a day, go play another game that is equally challenged, and then come back, and it's like it never ended. You're always going to be able to chase new weapons and be able to rearrange monsters in a whole different way. Say, okay, like if you're a sword main, if you're a longsword main, then go to a great sword. If you're a great sword main, then go to a hammer. If you're not this, go to an insect blade. There's always something that you can utilize in order to feel challenged. I know that this game lacks content because it's new. So they're not going to just give you everything off the back. And don't get me wrong, I'm also one of those too that feel a certain type of way at times when I feel like there's not enough monsters to challenge. You know, but you also can just go out and explore and look all over the map and find different monsters. You're always going to need something, a piece off certain monsters, a jewel off certain monsters. So why not just go farm one particular monster for a good hour, and then you'll have everything. But you'll still need different builds to face different monsters. It's just the way it is. But that's all I really want to say about that. I know I was all over the place, but basically, don't drop the game because you know you may not have as much content as you want right now. Because if Capcom has proved anything, it's always gonna get better. If this company and the makers of this game have proved time and time again, they're always gonna throw out good content. Don't get me wrong, I didn't really indulge in Rise and Wild. I mean, not Wilds, but the other one, because I was too hooked on Worlds and Worlds aesthetic and the way it looked visually compared to the more animated type. It was just different. And since I started with Worlds, I pretty much stuck with Worlds. And I've played Rise and but not as much. I went on there to challenge myself, lost track of exactly what I needed to do, and just kind of fell off. But it comes with the territory. All I'm gonna say is just stick with the game. It's only gonna get better. And yeah, it's only gonna get better. And by the time this video ends, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna fight many monsters. Hopefully Zoe and the bubble guy, Mitsu, whatever. But I just don't want to say the name. But yeah, So yeah, hopefully this didn't confuse you too much. I know I like to talk a lot and scatter brain, but that's just the process of my brain. But hopefully you tune into the channel, you subscribe, maybe you like, maybe you give us an idea, because it is more than one of us. Give us an idea of what type of games you want to see us play. Do you want walkthroughs, playthroughs? Do you want tutorials? Do you want builds? Do you want to see us play with weapons that are not necessarily something that we play with? Or, I mean, you tell me. I plan on doing a few other videos of games that are coming out, but I will continue to cover this one. And if I do give you a build video, it will not be one of those technical going into percentage. It's just going to be flat out what the damage you're going to get off of it, how to build it, and my idea of what it plays like until you actually play with it. With that being said, welcome to my channel. It's coming to a closure. I'm the gaming purist. Hopefully you come back. Yeah. Well, chat, I try to do my little thing. I think I need to improve the melody, but I haven't been able to find any gems that support that. I know I've seen them before, but yeah. And I think if I could, I don't want to exchange burst for wide range, but if I'm gonna do more of like a support, then I have to go with wide range so everybody feels it, even when I eat any type of consumables. I do have to do a lot better when it comes to this fight. But practice makes perfect.